All right. I'm not going to waste any more time because we have a lot to get into.
Happy
Did
Halloween!
something happen today?
Yeah, Halloween started.
Let me mute everything here. Hello, everybody. Welcome, one and all, to a special Friday edition of ThrillGeek This Week. We
A
put it
salute
on,
to all holidays, but mostly Halloween.
but mostly spooky season. Yes, that is correct. So I'm going to bring up chat here, turn music off. So yeah, the reason why we held off on doing the live stream to today were for obvious reasons. We got everything today: houses, scare zones for Halloween Horror Nights 32. So
It's really fun when Christmas is on July 28th.
That's what I said
I
on
think
Twitter.
the only thing what left is food and drinks, and that's about it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we don't get that until like a
Which
week
I
before.
mean, I will say this: good on them,
Mhm.
finally, like announcing all of it. This, I hate to say this far in advance, but you know how they are.
Yeah.
So it's hey, now everyone who was, whether you were on the fence or not, there you go. Figure it out.
Yeah, it was one big giant. I hate to use the term dump, but that's literally what it was. Everything, all at once. So
They're like, we're just going
Everything
to announce
everywhere all at once.
everything, and then drop the mic and leave. That's it.
yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
I am
So,
a head out.
for those of you watching in the live chat, we're just gonna kind of methodically go through the scare zones first, haunted houses second. I'll go over the description, and we'll kind of give our thoughts, and then we'll. Well, you know what? Let's first kind of go over the miscellaneous stuff because there were a few things that were announced besides the scare zone and the houses. So let me actually bring up our Twitter feed here.
Rest in
have
peace to the Megan Horde.
I have it. Yeah, I was here it is. Okay. So first things first here, we got some details about the tribute store. That will
Comic
be
book shop.
yeah,
So cool.
comic book theme. This will be coming. The tribute store will be coming back to the New York section of Universal Studios Florida for Halloween Horror Nights 2023. The last two, right? The last two tribute stores, Mardi Gras, and right now the Jurassic Park anniversary tribute store have been located in Hollywood. There have been several of us, including myself, that have been like, this isn't going to quite work out with Halloween Horror Nights. Just the layout is very congested. It's small.
It's almost like they figured out that they didn't need that extended queue space for the mummy.
Yeah. So
I mean that and it just thematically with whatever scare zone normally goes into Hollywood, it's not going to work with having this big bright lit up area.
Mhm.
The New York scare zones are never like super dark because you can't do that in that area. So it just makes sense to have it back there, and obviously a New York comic book shop, a comic book shop right there, it makes sense.
yeah,
And,
it says guests can enter a mysterious New York City comic book shop and experience the quote tribute to terror by stepping into the pages of this original terrifying horror comic book. So
and it'll be interesting if they sort of keep it with the sort of 60s style that's obviously going into that scare zone. And
that's the
which
thing. I was
we'll get
curious
to.
how they're going to because with the over the last several years they've tried to tie the tribute store into the scare zone that's in the New York area there. So I'll be very curious how they do that. But yeah, that was announced. As you can see here, Dead Coconut Club will be returning. They didn't really announce any details. Other than that, it will be returning to City Walk with a new theme and a new menu.
If you're looking for Barry, that's where he'll be.
And I guess we could go mention show. I was going to say shows, but show this year. Obviously, there's no fountain show this year.
Too
Marathon
much
of Mayhem.
damage.
Yeah, they from what I've seen, they've pretty much gutted out that lagoon in preparation for whatever its
I mean,
replacement's going to be.
It's obviously that wasn't the plan because, I mean, that fountain platform, that thing was meant to last for quite a fair amount of time. I mean, if you just look at like World of Color over at California Adventure, they're still using. Obviously, they've replaced pieces over time, but they're still using the original platform they created. And unfortunately, our lagoon here at Universal is also the drainage for the park.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess someone didn't take into account what a hurricane could do to that location.
Where is?
But yeah, a new version of Nightmare. Hopefully, it's an actual, real new version of Nightmare Fuel this year.
Don't hold your breath.
I mean, we sort of understood why last year's was sort of same-ish, because there were some things they couldn't do because of COVID the previous year. But I mean, I hope they really have a whole new story and it's not the same exact show. If it is, that seems to me, hey, this is where we decided not to spend any money. So
but Nightmare Fuel coming back, and unfortunately, I'll be very curious what that's going to do to the crowds this year. With it being such a huge year with this incredible lineup of houses, there's going to be, quite possibly record numbers this year to the event.
Was I the only person here that bought Express?
Maybe. Yes. I'm contemplating.
Just saying, because this is the year to get it.
Well, no, I know it clearly made a difference when the Lagoon show went down that last year. It clearly made a difference with the distribution of crowds, especially. We didn't have it made the height of the busiest part of the night worse last year without not having that Lagoon show to pull,
like people would still hang out over there, but not as many.
No, and it's sort of disappointing that they didn't really come up with some other form of entertainment, because they really need minimum 2 shows. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle everything this year, crowd wise.
Listen, get me a Megan costume. I'll go perform myself in Simpsons.
Hopefully, they'll bring the chainsaws back to the Simpsons area. It'd be nice.
The other thing, and this was kind of dropped early this morning, is this new Taste of Terror dining experience, which this will take place before the event starts, August 10th. Select nights, August 10th through the 26th.
It's so crazy.
For $160, you'll get an exclusive before the event starts, all you care to enjoy preview of select food and beverage. Obviously, Halloween Horror Nights themed food that will be available at the event this year, and it says tasting size portions. So you're not going to get a full fledged.
It's just because you're getting the alcohol included.
That's why.
All non-alcoholic beverages included. Alcohol beverage is included at a hosted bar. You get a souvenir Halloween Horror Nights light cup, a Halloween Horror Nights Coca-Cola freestyle cup, and you get 1 digital download of a photo taken at the Taste of Terror event.
I would assume that there's scare actors and theming.
You get a Blinky cup for free. You get a freestyle cup for free. I think that this is its price because of the alcohol. This is also probably explains why some things are going up pretty fast, because August 10th is not that far away. So I'm assuming they're going to probably have this in the Peacock Bar area and maybe San Francisco and all that.
It said in the description this is going to be in Soundstage.
Oh, they're going to do it in the Soundstage.
33, I think it said in the description.
Well, that makes even more sense because I think it
was 33.
They don't just decorate that soundstage for the media event normally. That's normally, that's where VIP, specialty events are. So basically, they're going to decorate, I'm assuming, that soundstage way earlier than they normally would, and just take advantage of. They can get some extra money out of it. They are definitely going to get a bunch of extra money out of vloggers. I'm going to bet that first night's going to be almost nothing but vloggers.
Probably.
So.
I'm trying to figure out which one 33 is.
I think it was 33. The soundstage is listed.
Because all the ones at the front are like 20s.
Yeah.
So would 33 be the one that's
33
behind La Bamba?
I thought 33 is the specialty event one.
I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
that's in
just
New
work
York.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. I
It's
just
the
work
one.
here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the one where they always have the corporate events throughout the Halloween Horror Nights, where they used to have the media event in there. Or they didn't last year.
I'm
Yeah.
not special enough to go in there.
I can't
wouldn't
think of. I still don't know a bunch of the sound stages. Everybody this time of the year names.
I just know because of speculation, everybody's like, it's on stage 22, and I'm like, that's the one near to I almost said Twister, Jimmy Fallon, that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's the only reason I know it. So that's why I was like, 33 is not a real number.
It's like I love Halloween Horror Nights. I don't work there, so do I really need to know which sound stage is where? It's like
Yeah.
Me, yes, if you're neurodivergent.
But anyways, yeah. This.
Hold on, let me get up Google Maps. So
I'm just
This-
saying you could probably find it.
It's listed. If you go to the Taste of Terror page and you look at the fine print, the soundstage is listed there.
yeah.
But anyways, this Taste of Terror thing, $160 a person. I was trying to think of more than one reason why they're doing this, and maybe they're doing this to test out the food, what works, what doesn't work.
That's smart though.
Yeah, maybe they're going to use it as kind of a testing, a test time frame.
Or they know there's enough suckers who will buy this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it'll be good for some people.
The rich people.
The people,
Rich people and vloggers.
and the people that are there every
Vloggers
night,
are not
like
rich people,
us.
let me tell you that.
No, but they'll use. There's definitely there's some vloggers, some people I know who are already planning on buying this and creating.
I mean,
content.
hey, if you can afford it, good for you. I just
not
can't.
I mean, if you're looking at the fact that, like, I know someone who is a writer who spent over $250 opening weekend on food and drinks.
Yeah.
This might make sense for you to go too and
Sure. Yeah.
save yourself a little bit of money. Hopefully
But
they'll
what if
give
they
it-
go and spend $250 on opening weekend too?
I don't know. We're the ones who don't really spend that much money at the food booth, but
It's me walking out at 2 a.m. literally starving because I refuse to spend $9 on an Uncrustable.
no, I mean
Deep-fried
that's
Oreos.
that's always been my complaint about the food booths for HHN is like they're way overpriced. Yeah, I mean even compared to like Disney's Epcot food festivals, they're overpriced.
I don't buy anything there either.
Yeah. It's like I'd rather just buy a slice of pizza from Louis. It's way cheaper and fills me up more.
You and I have done that several times.
A lot. I have done that a lot over the years.
So, all right, let me do some rearranging here, and we're gonna now get into the goodies, the good stuff. Let me bring
The good boys and ghouls.
the slides back here to the beginning, so I don't start at the end. And all right, here we go. We're gonna start off with scare zones first. Universal's really with these announcements today. We learned that there, and I listened. For those watching the live stream,
I'm glad you had time.
I can't recommend listening to the Discover Universal podcast. They
They're so
dropped
good.
3 episodes today, one for the original houses, one for the IP, and one for the scare zones. They're not that long. I think the longest one is like 20 minutes or something like that. They're not like an hour long each. You can get done with them pretty quick. Just put some headphones on and listen to them because there's some really cool details about the scare zones. They kind of do a story, whereas the houses, they kind of talk. I think what's her name, Laura Sauls, I think she does them. And she talks about the houses as kind of like the details that us HHN nerds want, and then the scare zones, it's kind of like a story, which is really cool. They did them last year, and they were pretty fantastic. So, anyways, it's a Discover Universal podcast. You can find it on Spotify. It's the official podcast from Universal. So, all right, let me get my descriptions up here, and we're gonna start with Shipyard 32 Horrors Unhinged. Which says, enter a 1940s San Francisco shipping yard full of mysterious crates and cages bearing Dr. Oddfellow's symbol. Beware, His nightmarish oddities have now escaped, spreading fear and chaos in their wake.
I love Dead Man's Wharf.
I was gonna say, is this gonna be like a Dead Man's Pier, Dead Man's Wharf? I mean, it's a shipyard, so surely there's gonna be some sort of nautical tie to this scare zone. But that's what I was gonna say about all these scare zones. They're really tying in this Oddfellow theme across the board.
Yeah.
And you can see it in the artwork here for this Shipyard 32 up in the upper right-hand corner. Not the top symbol, but the one on the box below it, the kind of bluish box, is his symbol. And it's all this Zodiac stuff, and it's really interesting.
I love how the one shipping container on the bottom right looks like
a fog machine.
Fog machine box.
Yeah, I just noticed that. It's got the hole in it. Looks like a fog machine. So, and this scare zone is going to be San Francisco.
Yes.
Shocking
Yes.
that it's themed to
And
San
it's right by the
Francisco.
water, so.
Yeah, it's right there by the water. Perfect theme. So, all right.
Which is also where Dead Man's Wharf was.
Moving on. Vamp 69, Summer of Blood. At a 60s music fest in a small New York town, guests will jam to popular bands with fellow concert goers until Dr. Oddfellow unleashes vicious vampires on the audience that are out for blood. So we are once again getting another Vamp scare zone. We've had Vamp 85. We've had Vamp... I always want to say 69, but it was Vamp 59. 55, yeah. The 9s and the 5s get all twisted up. So this was the first scare zone that kind of got some physical set pieces up. They got that big stage up in the New York area. What do you guys think about this scare zone? Are we excited for another Vamp scare zone?
Oh.
No?
No, I am.
How do you feel, Emily?
I'm excited about the.
I just like
Right.
original ideas. I just don't want the same thing
Yeah.
over and over. That's all.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm excited about the theme. I think doing a 1969 Summer of Love music festival theme is a pretty cool idea. You know, we've seen the stage set up. I had, as soon as I saw they even to having the proper almost type of can lights. Like I really hope that there are no like computer strobe lights in this zone. It should all be like typical can lights, which is what, you know, from that type of era.
Yeah.
But I love how it's themed to a music festival. And we've already seen, besides the stage, obviously some different booths, probably, you know, that are supposed to be maybe food or merchandise booths that have popped up. You know, and I think it's the music list should be pretty good for this one, hopefully.
Yeah. As long as Universal has
Spends
the rights and that sort of thing.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's. I know some people aren't happy about having another Vamp zone, but I like the theme. I like the idea of a 1960s.
I like the year.
Vampires and bell bottoms and you know.
Emily, I like the year.
I'm trying to be positive about it.
No, I think. I mean, I'm really hoping. You know, I think that this could be a really cool creative zone.
What are the odds we could get a phone booth right in the middle of the scare zone? And
What
Bill
are
and
the
Ted
odd
come
fellows
back?
that?
Yeah. Bill and Ted come back. Put a phone booth.
I wish.
Like,
I'm just waiting for all the 69 jokes.
yeah, you know there's going to be a plethora.
They've already started coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be a plethora of those. So, all right. Moving on. Jungle of Doom Expedition Horror. Where are we at here? In the 1920s, Dr. Oddfellow ventured deep into the darkest jungle, performing horrific experiments on nature. Now his monstrous creatures are running amok and on the hunt.
I hope there's an alligator boy.
An alligator boy?
I just want an alligator boy.
That would.
No, I think this is going to be a cool scare zone for Central Park. You know, you've got the trees, and you know we've already seen some of the sort of jungle type ruins go up. It's always a claustrophobic scare zone. As
Tell me
Emily-
about it.
So I there's so much you can do with in the shadows in this scare zone with like creatures coming out at you and like I said, I it's going to be interesting. Every scare zone we talked about so far this year, and everything I've read so far, it's like they all have great themes.
Yeah.
So I mean, this fingers crossed could be a really good scare zone year, like last year.
I'm excited. This sounds really. There's been some. The jungle theme always works great for for a scare zone because you can do the ghillie suits. You can do There's a lot.
Man as bush.
Yeah, man as bush. Exactly. So all right, moving on to Dark Zodiac, and I just lost my place on the press release here. Where are we?
This is the one I'm most excited about.
All right, here we go.
Is it? Why
No,
is that?
actually,
Dark
because I'm a Zodiac girly.
Yeah, the whole Zodiac thing is interesting with Dr. Oddfellow. And see, there's the symbol again on this artwork. There's even the merchandise kind of has like a Zodiac vibe to it. They're really diving into like this whole Zodiac immortal thing with Dr. Oddfellow. But Dark Zodiac. Dr. Oddfellow has entered a dark dimension to harness the power of the Zodiac and live forever. He twists the signs into malevolent beings who foretell one's doom. As his star rises, yours falls. So I don't know where they're going to go with this scare zone.
Hoping. Here I put on like my HHN nerd goggles.
Bring it on.
The first year I went, which was 21, when they did the 7 Deadly Sins scare zone.
Okay.
I'm kind of hoping it's like that with like separate stages for each different one and like
for
different
each
colors.
different symbol, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Because, like, for example, my sign's Leo, so that's a lion. So it'd be cool if, like, something lion is interpreted in that. And just different ones, like Cancer.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be cool.
That'd be
a little
cool.
crab.
Yeah. No, and I think something like this really should work really well in Hollywood. You've got a lot of room now.
And lighting.
Since we got lighting, and since like I said, no more parade, we're just able to do much more elaborate stuff.
We can do what we want now.
Hollywood now, so you got a lot of potential to really do something really creative and imaginative in that zone.
Yeah, it'll be hard to top Graveyard Deadly Unrest from last year, though. That scare zone was
still the best scare
phenomenal.
zone.
Oh my god, I miss that zone so much. So all right, I think we got one more scare zone. Yes, we got Dr. Oddfellow's Collection of Horror, and obviously this is going to be the Production Central.
Minion Land.
I just realized what Dr. Oddfellow is. It's going to be a lot like Lady Luck's year, where she was like heard but not seen. Well, where like she had like more implications and like the storylines of like the houses and the scare zones, but like obviously she wasn't like the big icon, even though she kind of was. If that makes sense.
Well, it's like it's like we're not. I have a feeling, even though much like the Pumpkin King last year, it's like I think they're not going to call Dr. Oddfellow an icon.
Excuse me, the Pumpkin Lord. How dare you disgrace our Lord and Savior?
Jack Skellington pops up with a lawsuit.
They're not going to call him an icon because they just don't do that anymore, which I still to this day think's stupid.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting to going with an overall theme for the scare zones and of course the one house, and just obviously this we imagine is going to be sort of like what the scare zone in that one has become. It's basically a best of.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And that's kind of the vibe I got from the description. It says Dr. Oddfellow will lure guests into Halloween Horror Nights with a promise of immortality as he lifts the veil on all of the horrors to come. They'll soon realize...
I assume that it's just going to be like last year's where they had different actors from the different scare zones.
Yeah, and they've been keen on bringing back the arch with the Halloween Horror Nights logo. So I'll be very curious if they do that this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that for that scare zone because it's with the crowds the way they are now. It's just there's only like later at night do they really have an opportunity to that scare zone is just so many people are streaming through.
It's a hard area to do anything big and elaborate.
And it's a tight area, and I'll be interested to see if they keep Villain Con open. Since it will be the newest attraction, whether they'll keep that open or not. So it's like I said, I think they've done As long as they, like you said, bring the arch back, the sign. I think that's what we really like about having, just that's the sort of the setup for the rest of the scare zones, the houses. That's and I'm fine with that.
It's a good focal point. It's a good entry point. When you come in the park and you're walking down and you see that red glowing Halloween Horror Nights sign,
When do we get to the ride?
Well, also, all of us who are hardcore fans know. Okay, all you suckers go that way. We're gonna go cut through Hollywood.
Me power walking to get to The Last of Us.
Yeah, so it's like, you guys go straight. Yeah.
So all right, that's it for Scare Zones. So pretty solid lineup of Scare Zones this year, just from kind of the descriptions.
Wait, are we gonna say which one we're looking forward to the most?
Oh, we can, sure. I'm
Zodiac.
No, you already said.
Okay, I'm just going first.
We kind of got the vibe from you. Barry, is there a particular one? And let us know in the chat. What do you guys think? What Scare Zone are you most excited for?
Is there a particular one? No, not at this moment. Ask me again once we get to our show right before Halloween Horror Nights.
It's going to be the Zodiac. He just doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to compete with me.
Once we see some more Scare Zone construction go up, then I'll start.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way I am too. But if I had to pick one right now, coming from somebody that just gets to the point at Halloween Horror Nights where I just sit in the Scare Zones and I film and I just take the ambiance in, I think Vamp 69 is going to be a fantastic Scare Zone in that respect.
Yeah.
I'll be very curious to see how Zodiac turns out. But like Barry said, I'm kind of waiting to see more with the Scare Zones as we get closer to the event, as it starts, what the zones look like and stuff, and then I'll have a little bit better idea. But I'm excited for just from somebody that me. There's nights where I'll just sit in a Scare Zone with my camera and film all night. So in that respect, Vamp 69 will probably be as New York Scare Zone usually is, because that's the biggest one. There's so many characters there, and I have a feeling that's going to be a lot of fun for me to kind of hang out and do my filming thing in this year. So, all right.
Yeah.
We are done with Scare Zones, so let's move on over to houses, and I don't know what order I put these in. I know what one we have last. I don't know which one we have first. So, all right, we're going to start off with Universal Monsters Unmasked, which this house sounds absolutely phenomenal.
I love Paris.
Let me take a drink because this description is pretty long.
Come on, Barry. I just took one too. Take a drink.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
The dark catacombs of Paris house a much darker secret 60 feet beneath the bustling streets. As the all-new haunted house Universal Monsters Unmasked takes guests down into the infamous burial grounds, where every corner and crevice overflows with millions of skeletal remains and even more sinister secrets. Deep within the catacombs, Universal's most notorious creatures, the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Dr. Jekyll and his deranged alternate personality, Mr. Hyde, and Dr. Jack Griffin, a.k.a. the Invisible Man.
Hit after hit after hit.
Lie in wait as they bide their time and seek vengeance against guests after the opening of the catacombs to public visitation. These desperate and dangerous fiends have become filled with a rage towards guests, navigating the twisted tunnels of their underground labyrinth home.
It's going to be so good.
Whew. So yeah, this sounds absolutely amazing. Just with this lineup, I mean, look at this. Look at.
I was not expecting Jekyll and Hyde and Invisible Man in this. I just knew it was Phantom and Hunchback, so that makes me very happy.
Going back to the rumors in the chatter, there was a lot of chatter about Hunchback and Phantom. This was going to be like a house with just the two of them, but here we are.
They said, "What if I give you all your babies?"
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because I'm sure it was because Phantom and Hunchback are the only real French, monsters. But you know what? I mean, we haven't gone wrong yet since they finally brought the monsters back. I'm very happy. They keep coming up with these original stories every year. use the monsters. Why I never understood for so many years why they didn't do it, and then they finally, I think, have found the formula of creating original stories for each one.
It's also smart, get people invested for Epic Universe.
Yeah, and it gets like you said, it's really cool because you get a new story for the monsters. And the last two have been pretty good. And here's hoping. I love the setting of the catacombs. There's so much stuff you can do with that.
Catacombs are spooky.
Yeah, so it's and especially the Paris catacombs are pretty spooky.
And
so it's
where is this house going to be? Rumored location?
Where Beetlejuice was.
So the parade building, or no?
What was last year? Where the Universal Monsters was.
The old parade.
Old parade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, this house sounds amazing with this lineup of Universal Monsters. I'm all for it. So, all right.
All 5 of them, very good boys.
Yeah, exactly. So, let me get back on track here with. I just realized we didn't get. Everybody's like, "Oh, speculation season's over." We didn't get anything. We still got Hollywood scare zones, and. I think they have a few more houses to go. So, and I know the Midsummer Scream thing is this weekend.
That's what they're waiting on.
Yeah, so they may drop something during that. So, all right, moving on. The Exorcist Believer.
She looks cute.
I'm a believer.
I'm not even going to bother with the description of this one. It's quite a lot. I mean, I can maybe
the devil.
Break it down. Yeah. I saw the trailer for The Believer before Oppenheimer when I saw it last week. So, yeah. It's, I don't know how I feel about this movie. I'm kind of torn that they're... Apparently, I read that this movie was supposed to be a reboot of The Exorcist, but it ended up being a direct sequel. And now it's going to be a house, which...
You know what was good, and I wish we got a house of it? The TV show.
I don't remember The Exorcist
TV show. I remember the TV show.
The TV show is good.
When did that come out?
Oh, God, like years ago. Gina Davis was in it.
Wasn't that? That was like late 80s. That was like
no.
Or was it early 90s? I don't know.
No, it is.
Oh, no, now I know. Okay, I'm sorry. I keep
2016.
Confusing. Yeah, okay.
Gina Davis was in it. John Cho.
I vaguely remember it, but I don't think I ever watched The Exorcist show.
That was good because without giving spoilers, that's actually sort of a sequel to it.
Yeah.
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 So I would have liked that instead of this, but
we're getting there, Sam. We're getting there, Sam. You're gonna have to stay.
Spoiler
alert.
It's gonna be pretty interesting to see, like, obviously since this movie doesn't come out till October, how much they're gonna really give
just
away.
Just walks through confused.
Give away in this house.
This is what Emily and I were talking about before we went live. Like the movie, when does the movie come out, Emily? October
13th.
13th, 14th, yeah. So the event's going to be 2/3 over, and we're not going to...
I already have a bunch of I'm confused memes saved.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, and on the other hand, it's a way to promote the film. I mean,
they did this with the Dracula movie.
Yeah.
When writers and actors are on strike right now, so the only person's going to be promoting this film are the producers and the director, and that's it.
Jason Blum himself.
Yeah, that's it. So it's a good way to get. It's basically free advertising for the movie. It'll be interesting to see if it's a good house or not. So.
Yeah, and I mean it's The Exorcist. It's a movie about two girls become possessed by the devil.
Yeah.
But
what's
as far
scarier than one possessed little girl? Two.
So, but yeah, I've never been a huge Exorcist fan. The original movie is iconic, a classic. And I'll be curious to see how this goes. So, all right, moving on down the list. We got Chucky re-announced.
This is Aaron's house.
Yeah.
Ultimate kill count.
Is there like a clicker as you go through? Just 1, 2, 3.
That would actually be kind of funny. Like click,
interactive.
1 kill, click, 2 kill. But no, we got this house announced at the very end of Halloween Horror Nights 2022. I think it was like the day after the event ended.
No, it was the last night.
It was the night.
Was it the final
Because
night?
I remember texting
night.
Aaron being like, "Congratulations."
Yeah, they announced it the final night.
But today during the official announcement of everything, we got the official title of the house. It is Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. And it says, inspired by the hit TV series, blah, 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 blah. Chucky Ultimate Kill Count casts their killer doll as the star of his very own haunted house for the first time. A true sadistic killer, Chucky has been mirrored in the agony of disrespect he feels from his peers at not being taken seriously. Thus begins his quest to turn his haunted house into a living slaughterhouse by killing every person who enters. So
I just want to see Tiffany.
It's a great idea. Yeah, I hope there's Tiffany. I hope we'll get to see the way they did Glenn and Glenda from the TV show.
I know my sister's excited about this house. She's absolutely terrified of Chucky.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I mean, there's a lot with the 2 seasons they've done of the TV show. There's a lot that they can go with this.
He's just
house.
a little guy.
That'll be just be different from any of the past Chucky houses, scare zones, everything. So
I haven't watched this. I haven't watched the show, so maybe I should.
I've watched breakdowns of the show, and it seems super interesting. I just haven't gotten a chance to actually sit down and watch it.
It's fun. It's fun. It's still horror and gory, but it's also like Chucky and stuff. Anyway, it's campy as hell. Especially Jennifer Tilly is just like chewing scenery.
She's an angel
throughout the show. So it's because remember Tiffany is in Jennifer Tilly's body now. So
yeah. So Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. We finally got the name for the Chucky house coming to Halloween Horror Nights, and I believe this house is also coming to Hollywood as well, along with Exorcist.
Yes.
If I remember correctly. So, all right, moving on. We can kind of quick chat about this. Stranger Things.
What?
Yeah, it's coming.
Oh my god.
I really don't think there was anything new in the description.
No.
Guests will experience their deepest fears. Vecna, Demobats, even Vecna himself, the Blood Red Mind Layer. Yeah, there wasn't really anything new about Stranger Things. So, yay, Stranger Things is coming back to Halloween Horror Nights. Moving on. The Last of Us coming to Halloween Horror Nights. Between these two, this is going to be an absolutely insane year between Stranger Things and The Last of Us.
Don't worry, I'll be in line for only one of them.
You basically have two of the biggest. And I'll be Last of Us is based on the game, but
no, I thought it was based on the TV show.
The TV show will obviously drive on additional want of people to come on top of the fans of the game. So it's
I mean, let's be serious.
Two of the biggest things in the last year has been Stranger Things season 4 and then the Last of Us TV show. So
let's be real here. If you're a fan of the TV show, you're a fan of the video game. If you're a fan of the video game, you're a fan of the TV show. It's The Last.
Can we highlight Sam's latest comment real quick, because I actually want to touch on that.
The Last of Us one.
Yeah, where he says, I was really excited about Last of Us, but since it's focusing on Pittsburgh, I'm a little less excited. And to that, I say, my friends, wait. Maybe we'll get houses based off of different locations.
Maybe.
Go ahead.
Future houses for The Last of Us. We got 800.
Make it the new Walking Dead, baby.
We got I was going to say, we got 800 Walking Dead houses, so.
I'm good with 800 Last of Us houses, so.
And Walking Dead scare zones, so. I would love to see a Last of Us scare zone one year. I think that would be fantastic. Last of Us coming to Halloween Horror Nights. Between this and Stranger Things, it's unreal this year. That
we are eating well.
Yeah, we are eating very, very well. So, all right, moving on.
Wait, are we gonna do our most anticipated IP house?
Did I do the IPs in order?
Yeah.
I completely did that by accident. I didn't realize I did IPs. Yeah, sure.
Last of Us.
Do we even have to?
I'm shocked. Universal Monsters. So.
Recap, we got Last of Us, Stranger Things, Chucky, Exorcist Believer, and Universal Monsters. Oh, this is tough for me.
Say Last of Us.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards The Last of Us, and I'm trying not to see the Stranger Things season 2-3 house just really put a bad taste in my mouth for Stranger Things.
Oh, I think this one will be awesome.
I'm
but
hoping
you put it
and
against
praying.
Last of Us.
Yeah, I'm such a huge fan of, like, clickers are terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So in that respect, I have to say The Last of Us.
I win.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm, I legitimately get creeped out playing The Last of Us video game. So if this house is, just kind of clickers galore, which I would be okay with, it'll be absolutely terrifying. So, yeah.
Don't worry, Barry, though. Our houses are right next to each other. We can just marathon them.
Yeah. Regardless, no matter which IP you're excited for, like I said, this is just an absolutely phenomenal.
It's a good IP lineup this year.
Lineup of IPs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now let's get to the originals.
We are now in the originals. This year is split right down the middle. 5 originals, 5 IPs. Let me bring back up my
Your notes?
list here. Yeah, my notes. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. Blood Moon Dark Offerings. Colonial-era villagers will begin to worship the moon obsessively. When the blood moon rises at their fall festival, they take it as a sign that they must hunt down any non-followers within their village. Guests will need to try not to become part of the sacrifices as they gather body parts to form a grisly offering in Blood Moon Dark Offerings.
I am a sucker for anything period piece related.
Mm-hmm.
So the second I heard Colonial, I was like, okay, yes.
So I'm confused. Is this going to be like a werewolf like?
It just sounds like
possessed people.
It sounds like kind of like almost like Chupacabra-ish, where they were trying to hunt you so they could survive.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting from it. I could be wrong. I don't work there.
I could see that. Yeah, no.
And I like the idea, the theming is what, colonial era.
My brain is like Roanoke.
That's pre-colonial.
This comment Sam said again. This house has the same symbol as the one that's in the shipyard scare zone as well. So they're really tying together this Zodiac Oddfellow storyline, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, this original house
climbed up behind you.
This original was
It did.
the one that I was most I don't know what to expect with this house, so I really don't have anything to offer.
No, I mean I
you don't have a dark offering?
I don't have a dark offering. Thank you, Emily.
You're welcome. I'm here for the comedy.
I need my rim shot sound effect. Yeah. So, but yeah, unless you guys do, we can kind of move on here.
Yes. It looks cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Like you said, anything colonial era, kind of that timed. Yeah, I'm all for that.
You could literally just tell me this is kind of based on history, and I go, okay.
Yeah, I'm in.
Those are always fun. The history type house.
Yeah.
The Darkest Deal. This was the other one that was really intriguing.
Somebody
to me.
played Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah. No, this is more Crossroads. As you can see by the artwork.
That's
also the guy's carrying a guitar.
I can't see. Is the symbol in this one anywhere?
He gets really close to the screen.
No.
I don't think it is. But let me read the description here really quick. The Darkest Deal. In the Mississippi Delta, blues musician Pine Straw Spruce meets at a crossroads with a diabolical entity known as the Collector to make a deal. His soul for musical glory. Guests will witness his big break performing for a crowd before the Collector drags him to Hades with the other musicians who learned the terrible price of fame in the Darkest Deal.
Yeah, it's Crossroads.
Yeah.
The blues song. Yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, that's pretty freaking original. I'm shocked no one's ever thought of doing something like that, of using that story.
Yeah.
The Crossroads story. So it's signing a deal with the devil, get you famous. But there's a price to pay. But then you got to
pay the price, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that. That's whoever on the creative team came up with this idea. Kudos to them, because that's just a great use of what's sort of been a part of American music since the 1930s, 20s, 30s. I forgot when, like Robert Johnson and that sort
Don't
of
ask
type
me.
era.
I obviously don't know history.
Yeah.
But no, that's another great use of
Sam
basically
said closest we'll get to a supernatural TV house.
I was thinking that. I did not want to say it.
No, it's a great idea to use something that's really a part of Americana.
And
but see, Sam can go in, and I can go, Sammy.
Is this a spring tent house?
Yeah,
I believe.
It's where
Bugs.
No, the other one that was supposed to be The Last of Us, but wasn't The Last of Us.
Yeah, no, they've already built sort of like looks like
the apocalyptic one. My brain's drawing a blank.
It's okay. It wasn't that great.
But yeah, they've already got a facade up for this one that has it looks like southern type look.
It has an outhouse.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
I saw BioReconstruct's pictures from.
Yeah, it's
helicopter.
got a very very southern facade.
So,
all
right.
How much do you want to bet someone's going to try to use that
rural
outhouse?
south facade? So
I was going to say over under how many days until some drunk HHN person tries to use that outhouse?
Oh, I'm sure.
So
my biggest anxiety was in Zombieland when they had the porta potties on there.
Yeah. Guess who's back?
The baby
Yeti's
boy.
Back. This was actually really interesting.
Are you over 6'5" and want to be a scare actor?
Do you enjoy air conditioning?
Spoiler alert, one of the things I learned in the Discover Universal podcast, in this house, you are going to see a Yeti family.
Aww.
You are going to see a family of Yetis. In this case, it's not going to be the Yeti. I think this one they're using Bigfoot. It's funny. I guess the
says
running
Yeti.
Well, let me. I guess a running joke in the HHN creative team is they use different iterations of the Yeti, but they keep calling the houses Yeti. Like this is supposed to be Bigfoot, and back when it was Yeti, and then the other. Was there a third one? I can't remember.
There was the Swamp Yeti.
Yeah, which was supposed to be Sasquatch, or I can't remember. But Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti. I guess there's a running joke where they're just going to use the name Yeti. So, anyways. This one says, in a 1950s campground, a group of towering, terrifying Yetis are running rampant, ripping apart campers, rangers, and anyone else who gets in their way. In Yeti campground kills, guests must flee through the campground into cabins, a bait shack, and even the outhouse. We're getting another outhouse.
Oh, yeah.
They love using outhouses.
In hopes of making it to the Ranger Tower before it's too late. So, I'm excited for this one. I loved the last Yeti house was fantastic. So, I'm super excited for this one.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is one. I wonder if this is one where that Ranger Tower, you're going to be able to see it from different parts of the maze to give you a real feel, give you that real like sort of like feel of it's just off.
Kind of like
distance.
the lighthouse in Dead Man's Pier last year.
And there better be a pine scented smell in this house. So
I will bring my own Febreze. Thank you very much.
Emily will be with her Febreze.
No, it's a great idea. Campground forest in 1950s. That's there's always gives it a different bit of a theme, so it'll have that sort of 1950s look to the probably campers and stuff like that. And I think this is a great use of the Yeti. And like I said, this could have a really cool looking like entrance as you walk in.
And is this going to be a soundstage house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
It's right next to Exorcist.
You really I imagine you're going to probably walk in through the campground entrance, probably, but you'll see the Ranger Tower off in the distance. I think, like I said, I think this could be really a nice, really cool entrance. Maybe with the, they have the moon in the artwork for this. That'd be really cool if you could see sort of the moon off in the distance too, or the moonlight or something like that.
I like houses with an objective. Like get to the moon.
Yeah.
Get to the ranger station.
Yeah.
Make me participate.
There's going to be some scare actor at some point his trigger is going to be get to the ranger station. It's probably going to be another ranger. Go, and then he gets attacked.
The cliche, get out of here.
Get out of here.
That's my dream job.
He's coming. Yeah. So, all right, moving on. I believe next should be Dr. Oddfellow. Yep, Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins.
Look at all of those Zodiac symbols.
This This was the other part in the podcast that was really, really interesting. Basically, in this house, you're gonna see. You're not going to see Jack himself. You're going to see silhouettes of Jack. You're basically going to learn how Jack, from what they were saying in the podcast, you are going to be witnessing what happened to Jack, going from him and how he ended up in the box. Dr. Oddfellow putting him in the box.
Yeah.
That's basically what this house is going to be. But when you listen to the Discover Universal podcast, this was the most interesting original house that they talked about. There's going to be a lot of fans of Jack are going to absolutely love this house because there's going to be a lot of lore and a lot of storytelling with this house, apparently.
Yeah.
And then it says the description: in the 1930s Dust Bowl era, guests won't be able to resist going inside Dr. Oddfellow's menacing menagerie of twisted oddities where they'll encounter grotesquely distorted animals and freakish fiends. In Dr. Oddfellow's twisted origins, the price to enter this creepy caravan is steep as souls feed his immortal power. But yeah, you learn about basically you're going to be learning about how he becomes immortal, the staff that he uses, how Jack got his staff, and all this really interesting, deep Jack Oddfellow lore, which is really interesting to me.
I'm so excited for this one. I just can't even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listened when I was listening to the podcast. This seems like this is going to be the house that's going to really get the hardcore HHN fanatics like us really excited, and really kind of expand on because we've always heard Jack worked for Oddfellows Circus, and it's great to see Universal finally expanding on Oddfellows lore, and we're learning about him.
Yeah, not being afraid to go deep into the lore.
Yeah. That's exactly what I mean.
In the past that they've been like, or the executives have been like, no, it's got to be, but no, it's like this.
Don't highlight the man who killed children.
The event is the IP now.
Yeah.
It's that big. It almost doesn't matter. Like the IPs that the event gets, it almost doesn't really matter. The event is the IP now. Mm-hmm. To the point that they're building a version of it in Vegas. That's how big this event is. So I'm all for every year. Hopefully we get some sort of like lore house or something of different things. So
yeah, no, I'm excited for this house after listening to the podcast. And just being a huge fan of HHN lore myself, I'm all for them expanding on it and growing. We all love Jack. We all love when he's at the event, but this is kind of an expansion of that lore. We kind of get to see kind of how Jack became Jack, sort of, not completely, because they said in the podcast the areas where you're going to see like Oddfellow and Jack fighting. It's going to be behind a silhouette, so it's probably going to be like a shadow projection or something like that.
Yeah, no, and I love this because it's like for years, most of the lore stuff, like the Legendary Truth, was stuff or some of the social media stuff was a lot of stuff that not a lot of people got to do.
Yeah,
nope.
Only a slick, and having more of having at least one, say, lore house every year. This is a chance for everyone to experience,
Yep.
all the stories behind the icons and different things are part of different characters that are part of Halloween Horror Nights history.
Yeah, and like I said, they're really tying the scare zones into Dr. Oddfellow with all these different Zodiac symbols and everything. So there's an overall
we love a theme
this year with Oddfellow and these scare zones, and it may not be something super deep, but there is a kind of something. There's something there that is interesting and intriguing.
No,
for us.
and like I've said before, if they're at the point where they don't want to call anybody an icon, okay, fine. But if you want to have this overall arching theme that's behind one main character, sure. So it's like, but they're not an icon. Okay.
Yeah, because all of the former icons have backstories. They have They have stories, and I've always been all for them expanding and, having, we really haven't had any, I'll probably be dragged for this, but I can't think off the top of my head. I mean, besides like Psychoscarapy for Jack and stuff, we really haven't had an origin story house for like the icons and stuff, you know, kind of expanding on their early days. Like, how did they get to where they are? You know, that sort of thing. So,
yeah.
Well, when you put a clown in a box.
So, anyway, Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins. Very excited about this house. I can't wait to check this one out. So, all right. I think that's 4 out of 5. I think all that's left.
Give me the good baby.
And Sam actually mentioned this early.
Choose thy fate.
Dueling Dragons, choose thy fate.
Very good.
This I never thought in a million years we would see a haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights based on a now defunct attraction at Universal Orlando. But yeah, Dueling Dragons, choose thy fate. I'll quick read the description here, which I think was actually pretty fantastic. Yeah, here it is. The great wizard Merlin has been transformed into the enchanted oak, leaving a power vacuum. When two powerful warlocks invade his castle to steal his spell book, they are turned into dragons of fire and ice. Pyrock and Blizzrock, for those of you that don't know their names. Now guests are caught in the middle of their battle and are forced to choose a path and a victor. But beware, one never knows who will win in Dueling Dragons Choose Thy Fate. So.
Very good.
Yeah. I am beyond excited for this house. This is my... we're probably going to pick our number one hyped original.
Yeah.
This is it for me.
Just
That's
Pyrock,
it.
Sweet Baby Boys.
Now, here's the interesting question. When they took out all the theming out of the Dueling Dragons queue,
did they save some?
Did they save some? Has it just been sitting in a warehouse waiting to be used for something?
They're just like putting this little sticky note someday.
Because, you know, one of the highlights of that attraction was the queue.
Caden says, Pyrock and Blizzrock, my boys. Yeah, Caden.
Yeah.
I worked on Dueling Dragons, so this ride off the get-go had a special place in my heart. I didn't work on Dragon Challenge. I worked on Dueling Dragons before Harry Potter. So Sam says, make an Enchanted Oak Tavern bar. That would be fantastic.
Or at least booth.
Yeah.
Booth would be interesting. I mean, this has got a lot of potential, obviously, based on some of the things that we've been told about this house.
I'm trying to remember what they talked about in the. They talked
Isn't
about
there
could
be four different endings? I think.
Yep.
They didn't get in detail, but they said there's going to be 4 different endings. Now I don't know if that means kind of like the throne room in Icons. They're just going to they'll rotate something at the end. I don't know what 4 different.
Well, I mean, remember last year there was 3 different endings to the monster's house.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but if this is also splitting up into 2 different paths, then there's 2 options.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm confused. Like, are they literally going to have 4 different ways for you to go in this house?
Well, I think it's going to be you pick blue, you pick red.
Yeah.
You go through the path of that way, and then you get to the end of blue, for example, and then there's 2 alternate endings. And then you get to the end of red, 2 alternate endings. I think that's what they mean, because I don't see logistically how the paths can cross safely.
Yeah, that would be a logistical nightmare with the conga line.
Caden, we talked about the question is how much of the queue got saved, how many of the props in the queue got saved, because there were a lot of very impressive props in that queue.
Well, they're in the main hall. They had the frozen horse,
the frozen knight,
frozen knight, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else was in that queue.
He's trying so hard.
There's a lot of great pieces that were in that.
I mean, Merlin's spell book was there, so maybe they saved that. When you did that little roundabout, you walked around.
I mean, I'd be shocked if there had to been a bunch of stuff saved, if only for, I mean, that's one of the things Halloween Horror Nights does is reuse things, including stuff that's like, been in past attractions.
Yeah.
So it's like it would make sense, like when they were redoing the queue for Harry Potter, that they would just take some of that stuff out, and God knows they've got so much storage of stuff, and this is a great chance to use it.
Then you went down into the kind of deeper areas. You had the door with the banging sound on it. I'm literally walking the queue in my head.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, it's definitely.
You gotta remember too. We've seen some of these props already.
Yeah, Caden just brought up.
Carnival Graveyard. Yeah, they did have a few props from. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's I love the idea. I imagine you're going to go through, like you said, you're going to get to a certain point in this maze where you got to choose your path, choose thy fate.
I can't wait to see it confuse everyone.
There's a lot of skulls, and there were a lot of skulls in the Dueling Dragons queue. Just when you got towards the end, before you choose your fate, that hall of
those catacombs
skulls.
You're basically sort of in.
Yep.
No, I'm definitely, like I said, this is the one that's got me the most excited. I mean, all of the original houses this year, all of them are great ideas. But Dueling Dragons is definitely the most excited I've been in a while for a original house.
Even if it sucks, nothing can top it.
This photo that was shared on the blog actually shows the entrance of the house.
Yeah.
You can see
it's gonna be so good.
The entrance of the house looks just like the castle back in the day when it was Dueling Dragons.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited because that's one of James's biggest things is D&D.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be really cool to have him experience that.
Yeah, no, I'm beyond excited for this house. When I started hearing the rumblings of a Dueling Dragons house, the rumors, I was like, what? I was like, a Dueling Dragons house? No way. And here we are. No,
I mean, when the park opened, when Islands of Adventure Dueling Dragon, the queue alone was one of the most impressive queues at the time.
Yeah, the Dueling Dragons
that we
queue
had
was
seen.
phenomenal.
It was also at the time the longest. The entire queue itself was the longest queue in the world at the time.
Yeah.
If you remember that.
Yep.
Remember all those extra switchbacks they had out there that never got used.
Yep. Caden said, I never got to experience the original ride. I didn't even get to do Dragon Challenge. And he says, so I'm excited to get some... Whoops, I can't.
Some semblance of Dueling Dragons experience.
Some semblance of a Dueling Dragons experience.
Well, you can go through the house, and then you can officially say that you've gone on Dueling Dragons. So there you go.
Yeah. There's Caden said he didn't know it was the longest queue. Yeah, it was back in the day when Islands of Adventure opened.
Queues a long girly.
Yep.
There was a whole before they put in the smaller coaster, the
Flight of the Hippogriff.
Yeah. Before they put that
there was extended queue all the way back there.
Yeah, there was extended queue all the way back there that never got used.
Yeah, I don't know what they were
doing. Because they used to. Here's a shocking story. They used to, even when that park was dead, they ran 3 trains
on Dueling Dragons
on each side of Dueling Dragons. There was literally never any way. That's probably why I probably rode.
That's probably why it was the longest queue too.
Back in the day,
walking through it.
Back in the day, I probably rode that coaster more than anything else. Because you could literally, you just get off and then they had the cut through and you'd get right back. You could literally almost get back on the same train you just got off of.
Yeah, I have fond memories of working on this ride for I think about a year. I did when I did my stint at Universal. But yeah, it was that was 2007, 2008. It was right
What if
before
that's where you guys first met and you never even knew it?
We could have run it. We probably could have.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I was a very small child.
If Barry and I crossed hands.
Crossed paths.
Caden says Lost Continent and Merlin Wood were some of the best themes. Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
That whole area. I mean, Lost Continent. I've said
still
this.
Trying.
I've said this before. As Lost Continent continues to shrink down in size, It was one of the best themed areas in Islands of Adventure when it was at its peak with the Enchanted Oak Tavern right there, Dueling Dragons. It was probably my favorite area of that whole park. It was just so fantastically themed. So I'm hoping I don't see how they could portray that in this house, but Sam, I miss it too. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna pour one out for OG Lost Continent.
I miss when Mythos had a much more original, higher quality menu than they do now.
And lower prices.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it was like borderline like fine dining for a theme park. Back
Rest
in the
peace.
day.
Rest in pieces.
Yeah. So, but no, the original Lost Continent was by far back my first visit to Islands of Adventure back in. I'm going to show my age here. Back in 2000 when it opened. Right. Well, I didn't go opening year 99. My first visit was in 2000. I fell in love with Lost Continent because I've always been like a medieval nerd with just the time frame. So, anyways, back on track. Dueling Dragons, Choose Thy Fate, coming to Halloween Horror Nights 32. I am beyond excited for this house. Words can't describe how excited I am for this. So this will easily be, and will probably remain my number one, probably overall IP.
Same.
And original. This will be
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
As much as I love Last of Us, I feel like this is gonna creep its way in there.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's everything. That is all 10 houses.
We did it.
All 5 scare zones. We've kind of gone over all of them. So thank you everybody for hanging with us as we went through it. I now have to get to work now in updating our guide.
Have fun.
So I will get on that, and I have to finish. I'm going to put it to. They're going to be announcing the food here probably in a couple of weeks, so I have to get our food guide.
Bare minimum, we'll know something August 10th. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sam, let us know.
I'm going to be separating our HHN food guide to another guide because it's just gotten so long over the years with all 10 houses, all 5 scare zones, and all of the food in one guide it was a lot. So
how many alcoholic drinks will suck this year? Find out.
How many can you suck down during that time period?
So look for that. I'll have that up soon. I'm just going to kind of get like a skeleton post up of just kind of the basics, and then as food is announced, I'll update that as well. So, but yeah, look for all the houses, all the scare zones soon on our ultimate thrill guide, thrillgeek.com/HHN. I'll be adding all those, and all the, there was some other Universal Hotel stuff announced for Cabana Bay, the Chucky experience. That's what's going to be at Cabana Bay this year.
There's going to be a Monsters thing in the lobbies of the different
There's going to be a
hotels.
Monsters thing at each of the lobby of the hotels. We didn't mention that at the beginning. I'll add.
And we'll get a lot of stuff. We'll get more details as we get close to the event. So as we get more details, we'll talk more about. And then, as always, right before the event, we will do our big giant Halloween Horror Nights preview episode.
Didn't we just?
Will any of our hype change between now and then? Who knows?
I don't think it will. I think I kind of got a good.
I was going to say, I think we just did it. So
yeah.
Well, somebody on Twitter, I forgot who.
I'm sorry. Don't you mean X?
X Twitter.
X.
Yeah.
I told my mom about that today, and she's like, "What is X?"
I'm waiting for them to get sued over the trademark that they don't have the rights to.
True.
But they. I lost my train of thought.
Choo choo.
What was I talking about?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Something about Twitter, and then I ruined it.
Yeah, that's
like
okay.
I normally do.
It'll come back to me. No, that's fine.
Everyone blames me for everything. It's fine.
It'll come back to me. But yeah, it's gonna bug me now. I can't remember what it was. That's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
It wasn't important, as your mother would say. It wasn't important then.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway,
me
guys,
has war flashbacks to the Russian grandmother.
Yeah, no, we will be updating our guides, all that stuff. So look for all that. And I'm going to try and get to the park this weekend for another video update for the YouTube channel, because I've been
There's a lot.
They've started to rock and roll with the scare zone. So whether it's tomorrow or Sunday, I will try to get out to the park for another update on all of our social media. So anyways, speaking of social media, Barry, tell everybody where they can follow you, where they can follow ThrillGeek and all that stuff.
Well, first, Emily, where can they follow you at?
I honestly just don't even want to deal with social media anymore, but if you want to,
she's on her
detox. Notice. It's not worth it, folks. Don't get invested.
Okay. I'm at
only in ThrillGeek, though.
Yes. I'm at Culture and Thrills on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, and YouTube.
What about X?
Well, X, Twitter. I am not calling it X.
I think you
until they
fully
change it over to X. You know, I'm not calling it X.
I tried to explain the logo to my mom, and she was like, "Wait, it's called Black X," and I was like, "No, but."
Did you see the tweet of the guy that had 4
X.
tabs open on his Chrome browser, and 3 of them were porn sites, and 1 of them was Twitter and X, and he was like, "Can you tell the difference?" And it was like, no.
No.
So bad. Like, I don't know what he was thinking with this. I don't.
He wasn't. That's the problem.
Thank
you for ruining our favorite social media platform.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is a sign to not use social media.
Literally our biggest social media following, because ThrillGeek Twitter is our biggest one with almost 16,000 followers. It's, but
I mean, Threads is doing good, but man, they got a ways to go. They really got to get things a little bit more better.
Yeah, I tried playing on the ThrillGeek one the other day, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Goodbye.
Yeah, they've still got a ways to go.
They launched it super simple. They just
it was just competition.
Yeah. I think Zuckerberg was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead, launch it," and it wasn't ready for prime time yet. But
no, it wasn't ready for prime time. And then on the other hand, you got Blue Sky, they're going way too slow.
They're dead on arrival. I don't think Blue Sky's going anywhere.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
they should have been out of their little beta by now.
I mean, I don't know if it's like a server thing, and their servers can't handle the stress of a bunch of people joining. They just don't want to spend
the money on the servers.
But I think that's going to bite them in the butt for not. I mean, look how many when Zuckerberg launched Threads, there was like hundreds of millions of users already, and it's like they said it fell off, but still. So, anyway,
it'll be interesting to see what happens. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, follow us on Threads, Blue Sky, and Twitter, whatever you want to follow.
If you're on a social media outlet, search the word ThrillGeek, and we'll probably
yes.
Blue Sky, Threads, YouTube.
Bare minimum, we have placeholders everywhere.
Yeah. If a new social media channel launches, I usually I don't care about me. I usually get one for ThrillGeek just so we have it. So. ThrillGeek has a Blue Sky. We have a Threads, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Whether we post to them or whether we just kind of let them sit there and rot is a different story. So
yeah,
it's up for debate.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, guys, thanks so much again. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Sam, Caden, appreciate you guys tuning in. Michael, I think Theron tuned in for a little bit. Theron, appreciate you guys as always. I think next week, since we kind of only did HHN. This week, I think next week we'll kind of go back to
an hour and a half dedicated to the Hatbox Ghost.
Well, next week will be a lot of Disney. So
yeah, I'll have some food and wine that I can chat about and some other things.
You'll have DVC to chat about, and we'll have the Hatbox Ghost controversy.
Dun dun dun.
The Hatbox Ghost tipping a pickle milkshake.
Disneyland and Walt Disney World's Haunted Mansion are exactly the same.
All right, save it for next week.
See you next week.
Anyways, guys, take care. Be safe. And we will see you all next week.
In the fog.
See you in the fog. And make sure you say hi to me instead of just saying, I saw you in the fog on Twitter.
That's scary. Don't do that.
Yes.
Please, don't do that.
Stay safe out there. Have a good night.
All righty, guys. Bye.